Hi everyone, it's Jodi and Bauer. First, I want to apologize for not being around a lot lately. 2023 is kicking my butt. So, um, personally, it's been hard for me to be able to help train and stuff. But I wanted to talk today about conditioning and counter conditioning. And desensitization and what that means and how it can help our animals. And I specifically want to talk about sounds. So most of us, our dogs are sensitive to sounds. Bauer doesn't like the doorbell. He doesn't like thunder and lightning. He doesn't like fireworks, just to name three. And those are all things you can work on using this technique called open bar, close bar. And it's a control unleash technique, but I've been working a little with Nicole at Blue Dog, and she's doing this with all her classes, and I thought this was a great idea, so I wanted to share it with you guys. So what we're going to do is, if you can see behind me, I set up on YouTube on my TV a fireworks display. I just went onto YouTube, I looked up fireworks. Make sure you don't get the Katy Perry song unless you need to desensitize your dog to that. So what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to use this with Bauer to kind of see if I can get him to not react to the sound of fireworks. And this is going to take a long time. This isn't going to be this one time. This is something that we're going to work on up until July, which is what I suggest you all do. Start now and work your way up to the point where maybe your dog's not going to care so much when fireworks go off. And I'm not talking about taking your dog to a fireworks display. I do not recommend that, especially if your dog's never been and you don't know how they're going to react. A lot of dogs bolt during fireworks displays. So my personal opinion is I want my dog to be okay with the sound going off, but not necessarily be there, because there are a lot of other factors that you can't control. Like right now we're working on the sound of the fireworks, but there's also the smell. There's also the lights. There's also the fact that you're in a place that you're not usually in with your dog in the dark. There's going to be a lot of other people there. There's going to be kids running around. There's going to be so much going on that you can't control that I would not, well, I wouldn't recommend it, but also this technique is not going to help make your dog comfortable being at a fireworks display. This technique is going to help your dog be comfortable at home when the fireworks start going off. So it's very simple. You're either, what's the difference between conditioning and counter conditioning? Conditioning is if your dog's never experienced something. So if you have a puppy who wasn't around the 4th of July last year, maybe you live somewhere where they don't do fireworks on New Year's Eve too, whatever. You have a young dog, they've never experienced fireworks, but you want them to have a good experience with fireworks. So you would be conditioning to them to the sound of the fireworks. What I'm working on is counter conditioning, which is a little harder because I already know Bauer does not like the sound of fireworks. So it's hard for him to have to be able to sit there and listen to fireworks. He's getting better as the years go by, but I'm going to try this technique and see if we can't help him be a little less upset with them. So, open bar, close bar is basically something you could use for conditioning or counter conditioning, desensitization. And what it is I'm going to feed him as long as the sound of the fireworks is going off. And when I shut off the sound of the fireworks, I'm going to stop feeding him. So what his brain is going to start doing, hopefully, is associating the sounds of fireworks with something good, like a treat. I'm also going to start this, because we're working on sound, I'm also going to start this really, really low. I have it set at minimum right now. So what I'm going to do in a second is I'm going to start the fireworks, and I'm just going to start feeding him. I'm not going to click, I'm not going to tell him he's good, nothing like that. I mean, you could say good if you want, but it's not part of the thing. It's just, you're going to feed him, When I pause it, I'm going to stop feeding him, give him a rest. What I'm going to be looking for is his reaction. So if I start this and his ears go up or he gets tense, I'm going to stop. I'm going to think, maybe it needs to be quieter. Maybe I have it on too long, whatever. You know, what you're going to try and follow the body language of your dog to tweak your plan as you go, because you want this to be as easy for the dog as possible. And what I'm going to eventually do, not on this video because it's not going to be long enough, is I am going to move up the volume and also the length of time, but not at the same time. If I move up the volume, I'm going to make the time short. If I move up, when I make the volume longer, I might go down where he's already good at the volume, or I'm not going to touch the volume for a little while. Either way, I'm not going to work on both things at the same time. I'm going to work on volume and I'm going to work on length of time. All right, so let's see. I'm going to push back a little, see if I can get him. Actually, I'm going to pause it for a second, see if I can get in a better spot so you can actually see him. So as you can see right now, he is nice and relaxed. So I'm going to open the treats. Have some in my hand at the ready. You know, it doesn't have to be too much. And I am going to take the remote and I'm going to start playing the fireworks. And I'm going to feed him. He's having absolutely no reaction to this. He's just going to keep laying there and getting his treats. So these treats are a little big, so he is taking his time to chew them. You might want to do smaller ones. All right, I'm going to pause. So that was open bar, now it's closed bar. I've paused it. He did really good with that, so I'm going to go up in volume. Let's see if I can show you this. I'm going to go up in volume just one notch because I don't want to go too much. So volume's at 1, I'm going to put it at 2, and we're going to go back to it again. Now I can hear it. I'm just going to keep feeding him. He seems to be okay with it. All right. I'm going to pause again. I'm going to go up one more in volume. I'm at 3 now. I'm going to start it. I think he's starting to have a little bit of a reaction. I don't know if you can see his eyes. So I'm just going to show you this. I'm not going to do it for long because I'm not sure he's going to like it. See how he's, yep. All right, so I'm pausing it because did you see that reaction? He wasn't so sure about that noise. So I'm pausing it, I'm pausing it. I'm gonna go back down to 2, and I'm gonna start again. Over here, baby. I'm gonna pause it again because he walked away. I'm gonna try going back down to 1 again, to where he was doing really good at. And we're gonna try this again. I'm gonna pause it for a second. Give him a minute. Not a minute, give him a second to look around. All right, I'm gonna start it again. And yes, all I'm doing is feeding him, and that may seem strange. But in the end, it's going to be worth it when you have a dog that doesn't react in a bad way to fireworks. All right, I'm pausing it again. I'm going to give him some lovin's. Tell him what a good boy he is. Yeah. try. I'm gonna give him a couple on the 1, and then I'm gonna go up to the 2, kind of in the middle, see if he reacts in a different way. And I might be going, you can take it slower if you want. I'm going probably a little too fast because of the video itself. But we'll see. Ready, baby? Oh, nope, I didn't even get to that point. Pausing it again. Baba. What are you barking at? You hear something outside? Hey, what's the matter? All right, so he's distracted by something else right now, so I'm going to give him a minute. Give him a few freebies. Oh yeah, there was a motorcycle going by. He doesn't like that sound either. Oh, look. Yes, I know. Motorcycles, huh? Oh, good job, baby. Good job. You want another one? And now I can't control the sound of the motorcycle, so I just got to give him a second to realize it's gone away. Good job, baby. It's okay. We also live near, Bye-bye. Hey, come here. We also live near a gun range, so sometimes he listens to that. Hey, hey, Bob. I picked quite the day to work on sound, apparently. Hey, you. Bye-bye. Sometimes movement, if they seem to be busy doing something, sometimes movement can help if they seem to be stuck. All right, so I'm going to try again, maybe. Well, he's going to bed. So he's basically told me he's done. He's like, I'm going to sleep in my bed. This has been way too much sound for me today. And I'm going to respect that because I don't want him to have a bad association with this sort of training. So, again, just to kind of go over it a little bit, you can't even see him, he's hiding in there now. To just kind of go over a little bit, what you're going to do is just take a few treats. You're going to do what's called open bar, close bar. You're going to, whatever sound it is that you're trying to help them get through or have a good association with, and you're going to feed them when the sound is playing. You're going to try and make the sound as low as possible. So something you can do is, like if your dog reacts to the doorbell, is record your doorbell on your phone and then put it at the minimum volume. And then you can work your way up so that your dog is not as crazed the next time they hear the doorbell. It'll be something that they consider. They might even come running to you because they're like, oh, there's that sound. I want a treat. And it may be that to you, you're thinking, well, I don't want my dog to always want a treat every time I hear the sound, but isn't it going to be better than them running and growling and jumping and being crazy at the sound of the doorbell? So it's a trade-off. And eventually they'll get to the point where the sound isn't so scary and it's not exciting either. So your dog will get to a point where the sound of the doorbell does not mean I'm getting a treat. We're just doing this temporarily to get them to stop associating the doorbell with being crazy, to learn to be calmer around the doorbell or the fireworks or the thunderstorm or whatever sound it is that you're trying to work on with your dog. You can do this for other things too. Right now I'm just talking about sound, but it's also good to teach your dog to not be scared of people. But that's a completely different technique, and I don't want to make things too confusing by talking about too much at once. But it is possible to use this technique, again, called open bar, closed bar. It's a control unleash technique specifically, but they also have counter conditioning, and desensitization. They all have similar ways of doing things. So if you need help, right now I cannot come to your house and help you train with your dog, but please feel free if you have any questions, email me. Maybe we can set up a Zoom meeting if need be. And hopefully by July, if you work on this a little every couple of days, getting a little longer, getting a little louder, by July your dog will not be afraid of the sound of the fireworks. Okay? Play positive, stay positive. Bye now.